Hola clase. Hopefully you've already done your prueba de ser versus estar y proposiciones. If you are not happy with that quiz grade, remember you are able to retake that again. Secondly, if you had less than 16 out of 20 on your vocab quiz, I've also redirected that one. You need to take that as well. So make sure you have both of those done. And you should have a paper in front of you that says Pronombres de Objetos Directos. The top looks like this on my screen. If you've not gotten that, go see the sub. Get that, please. I'm really sorry I'm not there today. I know this is a very tricky topic, but I'm going to do my best to explain it while through this video, and hopefully you guys will do okay. So, first things first. Pronombres de objetos directos. I hope somewhere along the line you have learned about direct and indirect objects, but if not, here's your lesson. In the past, we've talked about the subject of a sentence. The subject is the person who does the action or the being who does the action. So the dog ate my homework. The dog's the subject. The object is the thing receiving the action. So the object of the sentence receives the action. So in the case of the dog ate my homework, the dog's the subject, the homework's the object. The homework is what got eaten. In fact, it is specifically a direct object. A direct object answers the question verb, whatever verb you have, in this case ate, what, or verb who. So in the case of the dog ate my homework, ate what, ate the homework. I love Bob, love who, love Bob. Okay? So I want you to take a second, pause the video if you need to, and I want you to underline the direct objects in these 4 sentences. Ask yourself verb what or verb who. Got them? Let's go over it. I threw the ball. Our verb is threw. So threw what? Hopefully you've underlined the ball. She opens the mail. Our verb is opens. So opens what? The mail. He gave her flowers. This is a tricky one. Verb is gave. Gave what? He did not give her. He gave flowers. So flowers is your direct object. They don't understand me. Understand is our verb. Understand who? Me. Okay? In Spanish, we can replace these direct objects with direct object pronouns. You've actually heard a very famous example of this, most likely. You've probably heard the example, te amo, which means I love you. The te is replacing the you, a ti or a tu, that would go over here. Let's go over how you do this. And again, this is very common in Spanish, so you need to learn it. All right. So now we need to learn what ones we can do. So we can replace these direct objects with direct object pronouns. As to before, I'll write it again. Replace. This is a great R. Okay, so your direct object pronouns are the following. Me, te, lo if it's masculine, la if it's feminine, nos, os, los if it's masculine, las if it's feminine. These should look very familiar. They should look very similar to your gustar pronouns, the me, te, le from those. And when we learn the next lesson, that'll make a lot of sense why it's that way. Okay? There's a 3-step process to using these direct object pronouns. The first thing is that we recognize the el objeto directo, the direct object. Ooh, that is not spelled correctly. All right, Miss Case, you can spell when you're sick. Let's try that again. Recognize. Yeah, Z. That makes a lot more sense. Recognize the object, the direct object. That's what we were just doing in those last sentences, because if you don't know what a direct object is, you can't even begin to do this. Then you are going to replace it with the pronombre, with the direct object pronoun, with one of these 8 here. And then you are going to rearrange. Now, if you notice in that example I gave you, the te amo, the te moved out in front. So the pronoun always goes in front of, delante del verbo. You want to rearrange it so the pronoun is directly in front of the verb. Let's do a few examples. Yo tengo dos cómodas. I have 2 dressers. First things first, let's recognize our direct object. And let's do that by underlining. Tengo what? Dos cómodas. I have what? 2 dressers. I have recognized it. Now I have to think, what would I replace this with? Well, dos cómodas is plural, so on this side. It's not nosotros. It's not vosotros. It's an object. The question is it a masculine object, so it would be los, or is it a feminine object, and so it would be las? Cómodas, feminine, so I am going to replace it with las. And then I am going to move that in front of tango. So I'm going to rewrite my sentence as yo las tango. And in English, this would translate to I have them. This is the way that Spanish get away with the word it or them. I have them, I have it. And that's why when a lot of you guys ask me how to translate it, I always have to ask you what the sentence is, because there isn't exactly a word for it. They do this thing instead. I want you to pause the video. I want you to try B and C on your own for just a second, and then unpause it and I will go over the answers. So pause it now, try those. Did you get them? Great, let's try it. So, ellos hablan a ti. They talk to you. Hablan's our verb, so what's our object? Hablan to who, or hablan who? A ti. They talk to you. What am I going to replace T with? Well, if I look back at my handy dandy chart, T is in the same box as te. So I'm going to replace it with te. And where does it need to move to? In front of hablan. So you should have ellos te hablan. Bien? How about this last one? Necesitamos un teléfono nuevo. We need a new phone. Well, verb is we need. Need what? Un teléfono nuevo. This whole thing is going to get replaced because the new phone is the entire direct object. What will we replace it with? Well, it's singular. It's not me. It's not you. Is it masculine or feminine? Well, teléfono, it's going to be masculine, so we're going to replace it with lo. And then we are going to move it in front of our verb. And I see there's nothing else here. There's no subject written. That's fine. It'll become the first word. So we will have lo necesitamos. I will include a few extra links on this presentation so that if you are still confused, maybe you can watch and practice from somebody else. Okay? You are now going to have time to do your homework, and your homework is workbook page 154. You can go back to the presentation and see if there's any additional information you need about that page. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to email me. Buena suerte!